Business Focus with Kudzi Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Good morning and welcome to Business Focus right here on Capi Talk. As always, we have Kudzi Sharara to help us understand more of the world of business. Good morning to you, Kudzi. How are you doing?
Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning, everyone.
Great, thank you so much. Let's begin with the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange trading update for Monday, yesterday.
Thank you, Tinashe. So I think it has been a few good days for the ZSC, for those who want the market to go up and recover from the currency devaluation, which saw some of the counters trading below their intrinsic values. And so yesterday, the all-share index was up by 2.13%. The top 10 index doing even better, up by 2.4%. And then the daily outturn, that's the amount of money that was invested, another significant amount there, that's 24.55. I think I'm mixing my numbers there, Tinashe, pardon me. I think I'm looking at the wrong figures there. I'm looking for those for yesterday. So I think I was the ones that I was giving you are from Friday.
Okay.
So let's get to look at yesterday's numbers in terms of
That's 28 October.
Yes. So I was looking at the wrong price sheet there. So pardon me there. Let me just look at, but we can talk about other things. Yeah.
Right. If you've got questions to do with business, feel free to drop them up on our WhatsApp platform, 0719 100404. Strictly questions to do with business. We're looking forward to having them on our WhatsApp platform. And of course, Kudzi Sharara will help us understand more of all that. 0719 100404. As we also look at the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, we'll come back to it in a moment, right?
Yes, so we can talk about other things. Yes.
So I understand there's a latest statement that's coming out from the central bank.
Yes, the central bank, that's the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, yesterday released a statement. So maybe a bit of background to that statement. So there's been some lawyers have been on social media talking about whether ZiG is still legal tender or not. So this lawyer argued that ZiG is no longer legal tender. Why? Because it was issued through presidential powers. And when a statutory instrument is issued through presidential powers, it is supposed to last for just 6 months. So the 6 months, I think, expired on the 4th of October. So this lawyer argues that from the 5th of October, there was a gap at law regarding the Zimbabwe gold, which is the local currency. And as that statement was circulating, the Treasury released the Finance Act. Normally, what happens is that when the Finance Act, in most cases, regularizes or promulgates what would have been said in the budget. Remember, when the Minister of Finance announces his budget, it has to be debated in Parliament, and then it is it comes with a finance bill, which is debated, and then it is passed into law. So that had not happened until this past weekend. Again, the lawyer came back and said, no, as much as this particular Finance Act is saying that ZiG is now legal tender, the law does not permit that, because once the statutory instrument issued through presidential powers has lapsed, you cannot introduce a similar law after that. So there has been debate on social media, but the Reserve Bank has now come in, weighing in with its own view with regards that. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know whether the RBZ is the one that is correct or this particular lawyer is the one that is correct. And maybe other lawyers can chip in. But the Reserve Bank is saying that there is no gap at law regarding the Zimbabwe gold. It says that the Zimbabwe gold was established through presidential powers, temporary measures proclaimed under Statutory Instrument 60 of 2024, which constitutes a one-time act of currency reform. And then the IRBZ argues that currency reform measures, by their nature, do not lapse simply because the instrument that introduced the reforms has lapsed. It says that the lapsing of the presidential temporary powers that established the currency does not therefore create a gap in law. Legally, currency reforms measures are only revoked by another legal instrument. So this is the argument coming from the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. So I think maybe if somebody then goes to court and challenges to say ZiG is no longer legal tender using, for example, what this particular lawyer was saying, and then it goes to court and then a ruling is made, maybe we can get to see who is correct between what this lawyer says and what the RBZ says. Because I think this statement that has been issued, or public notice that has been issued by the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, I'm sure it's also in consultation with their lawyers or the Attorney General. So it's about interpretation of the law. So but for me, it's neither here or there in terms of whether it is. Yes, when Mtemo, no, we need to follow Mtemo says, which is true. But for me, I don't see government saying no, because we let this statutory instrument lapse, so we have to start again and issue a new currency. Because according to what the lawyer is saying, is that you can't then issue another similar
after the lapsing of the 6 months.
Yes. Yeah. So what for me matters most is the stability of the ZiG, and it hasn't been stable even on the forward market Tinashe. Since ZiG was devalued on the 27th of September by about 43%. Now we have gone the month of October. We are almost at the end of the month of October. It has further devalued by another 14%. And I'm talking officially. It has devalued by another 14%.
So from 43% to another 14%.
Yes, it is. Yes. So it's now trading at as of yesterday. I think it was trading at 28.36. So if you go back to the 24.39 at devaluation, and then you calculate. Remember our calculation method. So it's now 28.36 minus 24.39 over 28.36.
So it's new minus old over new.
Yes.
Right.
So then you come with that will be the depreciation. So it is depreciated by 14%. I don't think anyone in the world will be comfortable with a currency that depreciated by 14% within a month. It shows instability.
What could be the attributing factors why it continues to lose value like that?
For me, it means that there isn't sufficient foreign currency that is available for those who are looking for foreign currency, or that is available in exchange for ZiG. Remember, ZiG still has people still have confidence issues. Also with ZiG, almost 80%, if not more, of the economy is trading in US dollars. You've got institutions, some of them are even schools, some of them are even hospitals that do not accept ZiG. So when you are paid in ZiG, you need to find a home for it in US dollars. You need to exchange it for US dollars. And unfortunately, for such things like school fees and others, you have got no access to foreign currency, formal access to foreign currency. You can't go up to your bank at interbank market to say I want foreign currency for my school fees. University. If your landlord demands US dollars, again you can't go to the bank and say I want foreign currency. Yes, there's been argument to say no, but people are earning in both US dollars and in ZiG. But then you have to look at that. There are some people who are earning almost entirely in ZiG, right?
But rentals are in USD.
Rentals are in USD, and then some services. Right, we have heard authorities say, no, the parallel market is only accounting for 5% of the needs of those who want foreign currency. But again, now, some businesses or most businesses are using that exchange rate determined by the parallel market, which is between anything around 40. Right, that is the one that is used by service providers. So, okay, I think guys are number US. I can only pay you in ZiG. But exchange rate is 40. So that's the instability, and I think the official rate now, which is now at 28.36, is playing catch up to the parallel market rate. And for as long as there is this premium, 28 versus 40, it means that someone will always feel shortchanged, and they would not want to accept your payment 28. Of ZiG at 28. They will not want to accept that because they feel shortchanged. We have heard the miners, through the Chamber of Mines, recently they released a report to say they feel shortchanged because when they surrender their foreign currency, it's liquidated at the official rate, which is 28.36. But when they then want to pay for other services,
It's at 40.
It's at 40. So your ZiG that you got it at 28. But when you want to pay for services in that ZiG as well, you are then charged at 40. So that's the issue. Yes, for lawyers and others, it's important that you've got a legal instruments operating in the economy. But for us, when it comes to bread and butter issues, we want that stability, which the governor has promised. But for now, I would say it has remained elusive in terms of that stability.
So with that, we've got a question here from Pauline Marasha, who says, so with all that has been said about the ZiG currency, what reforms are necessary for the central bank to regain market confidence?
Yeah, I think what I think we said it yesterday to say, for example, the interbank market is not inclusive for those who want US dollars. It's not inclusive. What do I mean with it's not inclusive? Already we have said some of the things. If you as an individual want money for rental, want money for school fees or whatever, you won't get that money on the interbank market. So you are left to look for it elsewhere. There are businesses that, for example, would require 10 million US at the interbank market. But for as long as they've got 2 million in their account, the regulations say use that 2 million first before you come to the central bank looking for money. So again, that means that they are excluded from accessing foreign currency when they need it, because a company might have that 2 million, 3 million in their account, but probably it's to pay for those local suppliers who are demanding US dollars. And it's a known fact that there are local suppliers who are demanding US dollars. So we need an inclusive interbank market which accommodates anyone who wants foreign currency. So that's number one. Number two, you need discipline in terms of the ZiG in circulation. Yes, at the moment, there's been restrictions in terms of the loans that you can get. Interest rates are up. The statutory reserves are up, which means that they've tried to cap the amount of ZiG in circulation. But the skewness in which ZiG is being used in the economy, where only a few are accepting ZiG, it means that those few will be loaded with ZiG. If it was spread across the economy, to say everyone, everyone ane their fair share of ZiG, then it would make sense. But you now have some institutions that are receiving 80% of their revenues in ZiG, right? And then there are others that are receiving almost 80% of their revenues in US dollars. So there is that skewness or that mismatch, which will continue to affect us in terms of having a stable currency. Okay. So there are many areas or gray areas or structural issues that need to be sorted out. And yesterday we suggested that maybe there is need for a social contract where we all agree to do certain things. And once we have agreed, we follow them by the book and have independent auditors to make sure that business is following what it agreed to, the Reserve Bank is following what it would have agreed to, Treasury is following what it would have agreed to. Another factor that is also causing this Tinashe is because Treasury is looking for money to pay back the loans that it assumed from the Reserve Bank. So Reserve Bank had debts of about 3.6 billion US dollars. Some of that money is due for repayment. There are interest rates that are due for payment, and Treasury has to buy that money somewhere, and they are buying it from exporters, right? And by buying, it means that they are also giving exporters ZiG. And when exporters are given 25% of their earnings, right? For example, look at I think our exports for this for the month of September. If you just look at, let me just look at our export for exports for the month of September. we exported about $575 million worth of goods, 575 million. So you say your 575 and you try and get your 25% of that is how much? It's 143 million. So in September, government had to buy 143 million US dollars. So how do they buy it? By exchanging it for ZiG. So if you look at let's say September, the rate was 14 at that time. So if for that 143 million by that rate of 14,
yeah.
which gives you, I think, about 2 billion ZiG. That will then go into the market. So that again creates that instability.
There's another question here, Kudzi, that says, how long should a legal tender last if released through Parliament, not using the presidential powers? Also, are there any factors which determines the duration of the legal tender? This message is coming from Sydney Murato.
So if it's something that is coming from Parliament, it can only be, once it is passed and it's into law, then it's there forever until Parliament decides to amend it. So when you look at even this Finance Act yaga released kwa weekend, you know, a lot of things rains my amendments and replacing particular chapters or sections being replaced by others. My amendments, they say because in Parliament, so Parliament has got that right. Vakafunga uti tada kuchinja zvatakawirana a few months ago, tada kuzvichinja. Parliament can do that, but my statutory instruments are slightly different depending on what statutory instrument yaka issue how kana iri yema presidential powers ndo inonzi nemtemo it can only be enforced for 6 months kana iri ma presidential powers, but the parliament is, I think they should be, I'm not a lawyer though, but I think the parliament will last forever until Parliament again changes it. But we have seen some that so pane mtemo yekuti you can change with a statutory instrument.
Okay.
Koita isingabvumidzwa kuti uchinje ne statutory instrument, it has to go via Parliament.
All right, Kudzi, just lastly before we wrap it off, the latest trading figures.
So latest trading figures. That's so we were saying that our exports for September were 575 million, and then but our imports were at 782 million. So we continue to import more than we are exporting in terms of value. So we continue to have that trade deficit, and in this case, the trade deficit was at 207 million. That's the shortfall we had when we compared our exports and our imports. And I think we need to work on our imports, reduce what we are importing with local production, and then also ramp up our exports so that we can get more foreign currency.
Right, Kudzi, let's end it here for today. Thank you so much for Business Focus right here on Capital. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great Tuesday.
Thank you.
Business Focus with Kudzi Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.